How you doing, everybody? Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. We've got a very unbalanced patch here. Definitely actively making cards unfair. Definitely something we haven't seen before. Well, maybe we have seen before, but yeah, definitely going to create an interesting week of chaos. Let's get into the cards. Let's get into the event, and let's begin. Alright, so let's take a look at this Valentine week event. Power couple event begins now. Ever heard of balance patches? Now we're going to introduce our first ever imbalanced patch to celebrate Valentine's Day. We're supercharging the power of our favorite power couples in the game for a limited time. So this is going to be lasting for the week, basically. So it's a temporary keyword that gives cards better half bonus power. And we kind of get an example with Daredevil and She-Hulk. So if you play Daredevil, you'll get +2 power to She-Hulk. If you play She-Hulk, you'll get +2 power to Daredevil. So that's pretty cool. I wonder how it works if you copy, like, let's say you Moon Girl the power couple. Does it stack? Is my question, right? Like, so it feels like it should. It kind of. I wonder if it's like an on reveal as well. Can you like Wong it? Like, there's a lot of questions that you need to figure out, right? For this, let me put on the light, by the way. But those are like my immediate questions. Like, what do you do with how do you abuse this, right? Generally, it says the first time you play She-Hulk. So I guess maybe it's like a one-time abuse, and you can't like Moon Girl to get like tons and tons of copies of it. If you can put both on the board, that's a total of +4 power. And yes, it works on copy. Oh, okay, thank you. That's what I was asking. It works on copies of cards. So if you have Daredevil on the board and 2 She-Hulks in your hand, that's +2 for each She-Hulk. But is it plus? Okay, they say it's +2 for each She-Hulk, but is it +4 for the Daredevil? That's what I was wondering. For sure. Here's a list and power buff of all our power couples. Why is Black Panther Nakia 1 power and Captain America Agent 13 2? I'm just wondering. Anyways, to be fair, like Black Panther does double. I feel the best couples personally would be the ones with lower costs, right? So it means like it's a lot easier to invest, right? And the lower cost cards will get more power. So like Captain America Agent 13, that actually seems really good. Like you get a 1/4 captain, a 1/4 agent, a 3/5 captain. Those are playable. Gambit Rogue. You'd have to be so some of them you'd have to be playing like these weird cards like Rescue. No one really plays Rescue. Iron Man copying is interesting. Miles Morales Ghost Spider. That is like those are already playable decks. You can play Ghost Spider, Miles Morales in the same deck, so it's easy. Star-Lord Gamora. Yeah. Vision Scarlet Witch. Angela Sarah, you could definitely play Sarah Control with Angela and Hid Monkey. That could definitely work. There's definitely some interesting ideas to be done with this. For me, the ones that really look, I would love to make a list of like some decks to be played with each of the power couples. So maybe that would be like a different video. But yeah, definitely an interesting idea of an event, kind of forcing. It also lets here's my idea. It lets them play test stronger versions of cards. Right? Like you get to playtest what does a buffed up Gambit look like? What does a buffed up Captain America look like? How powerful is it? How does it change the meta? If we gave Black Panther an extra power, how bad is it really? They really get to playtest some things. I wonder, is there anything that goes from 9 to 10? Right? Yeah. Like She-Hulk, but stuff like that. Those are definitely a little bit interesting if you open up Shang-Chi value. Same thing with Black Panther. You open up Shang-Chi value. There's a little bit of a scare in some of those scenarios, right, where you open up some Shang-Chi value. So there's definitely some considerations that need to be made in terms of like, yes, you're buffing them up, but maybe that's not super clear. So definitely an interesting kind of take a look at. I want to just do it now. Give me a second. So I went and created a couple decks, just kind of using some of these power couples, just taking advantage of it. We're not really going to deviate from the standard. I'm kind of the belief that if you can just adjust an already good deck, you're probably halfway there to creating something. So first one is just like taking advantage of Gamora and Star-Lord. Fits pretty nicely into the Miss Marvel Alliance kind of game plan here. Lots to do on early game, and if you can set up the Storm lane, makes the Gamora pretty easy to hit. 13 power Gamora is pretty good, so I could definitely see that being functional. Next up, we have... What do we have? We have, yeah, Daredevil, She-Hulk. Honestly, this power couple seems broken to me. Like, 4 power Daredevil is not balanced. I know it's not. It's not balanced. And the 12 power She-Hulk also doesn't seem balanced to me either. So, just if you can find a deck to play this type of game plan, you're probably going to do well. I actually want a different deck. I don't want Professor X in my list. Give me a second. All right, that looks a little bit better to me. Yeah. This is more my speed. What was I doing with the other list here? Daredevil, Professor X, kind of the same game plan, except now you have Daredevil instead of maybe armor, something like that. A lot of people aren't really falling for that. And you have your leech anyways, so seems pretty good to me. Definitely 12 power. I mean, this just seems like broken. I don't know. 4 power Daredevil? Jeez, come on, get me out of here. All right, what's the next one we have? So this one is taking advantage of the Agent 13 Captain America. Captain America being a 3-drop, figured I'd just put it in Silver Surfer. So kind of a Silver Surfer list with Agent 13. Like, it's not even a big investment to run Agent 13 since you replace it. I definitely think this has like some of the more flexible deck design decisions since you have a 1 and a 3. That's pretty early in the game that you don't really have to invest too much, and the payoff is pretty good. A 1/4 and a 3/5 with upside, like, you know, that seems like splashable to me. So definitely something I would consider just putting in random decks, just seeing like, oh, how good is a 1/4 and a 3/5 with upside? Like, it's probably very, very strong. So yeah. And then next up we have the Scarlet Witch Vision. This one also is pretty free because I feel like Scarlet Witch is a tech card you could definitely use more of, and yeah, it being a 1/4 is definitely way more enticing than the 2/3 selling it currently has. And a 5/7 Vision still goes under a Shang-Chi, so that's pretty happy to see. So yeah, definitely an easy to splash card. Also, Lockjaw kind of makes it a little bit easier to hit these power couples since you can just put Scarlet Witch in there and flip it away, look fish for your other pieces. So yeah, definitely interesting to see. Definitely think this is something that you could definitely see some play in. Also, Scar is interesting, but I don't think there's a lot of other than like rescue, there's not like new 10 cost cards being added. So yeah, the same thing here. This is a Shuri version. I think Shuri is very obvious for a Vision target, so you gotta make a Shuri Vision with Scarlet Witch. Like, this just seems like a regular deck to me. I don't feel like I'm going out of my way to play Scarlet Witch at all. So yeah, definitely makes sense. Seems particularly strong when you can get it to work. And then the next one is taking advantage of the Invisible Woman plus the Mr. Fantastic. So we're going Living Tribunal here. The Invisible Woman gives you some protection. Usually when you're playing a Tribunal deck, what happens is they'll have an answer for your, your Enchantress or something like that. The Invisible Woman kind of protects that, so you can put Invisible Woman, then put off all your powers like Iron Man, Onslaught, Tribunal, all in the same lane without really worrying too much about getting countered in the final turn. So that's kind of the idea there. And then Mr. Fantastic just kind of fits, especially with an extra power, just kind of fits. So I think this also makes a ton of sense. So yeah, there's definitely even more ideas. This is just like some of the, you know, initial ideas in my head. Definitely going to be a pretty weird week since the balance is gonna shift back once it's done. So feels like they're doing some testing, but they're also like trying to find a fun event. So yeah, definitely excited to try this. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Educated calling snap. Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you to marvel snap. Your skills will be